Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East. Let's continue where we left off and start with Army Group South. I already moved a bunch of units, but I'm also going to try and break through here. Now... That's not exactly what I was looking for. I would now have to move through this area. I mean, I can, I guess, but... start by pushing those guys around. I still need to attack them at this point, unfortunately. Weird thing is that they're crossing the river down there. Not too sure. I'm losing 10 tanks. Yeah, I get it. It's not great. But the thing that I want to do is I want to cut this lower rail line at least 13, 12. Okay. Because if I do that, then they can no longer teleport. And... yeah, so... I will not be able to cut them off, because the maximum I can go to is here. So then... they will not be out of supply, but... or they will not be cut off. But the fact that I can... that I got this now, I do think it's pretty good. So the question is, do I want to go down all the way? That kind of depends on the rest of the unit. So you can go here at a maximum. So with that, it is probably better to do this. Oh, you're not taking this hex. I see. That suggests that there's something here. Now at this rate they might actually cut those guys off. Unless I move up and in here. Capture Pologi or go down from there. Let's get them to take all those hexes, and I don't want them to go and move over into this area, so I'll probably also take something there. But let's move you in here. Or they have something there, that might be the case too. Oh yeah, they do have it here. Let's push them away. It's not that I can keep moving here, but the good thing about this is that at that point they would have a hard time getting back. So that should work. Like I said, these guys are not cut off technically, but since they can no longer use any rail to get out of there, they have to move by foot, and that just generally is gonna be pretty difficult for them. And I would think that, well, they might be able to get all the way to this, but I do hope to be able to get to Osipenko faster than they do. At least. It is unclear whether that will actually be the case, but... okay, so definitely let's have the light division just go to the Dnipropetrovsk and start refitting there. They're very weak at this stage. If my units are at 4, I'm not inclined to keep going with them, to be honest. What I do want to do, though, is turn on the... No, the sound is actually pretty high. That's weird. Anyway, I want to use a double attack here. Get these guys routing. I need to get my panzers out, obviously. Like... There is nothing good about these panzers being encircled, but maybe I can actually grab these. That'd be nice. Not sure. I would have to beat these and then move into this hex. That would be rather tricky. Let's just start by pushing back the cav. And I mean, these guys can go in there, but is that really what I want to be doing? Maybe I do actually want to do that. Anti-tank rifle. I mean, I like encircling the mechanized division here most of all. Yeah, why not? And then you can pull back, and you can pull back. There we go. And let's move you into Poltava. Meanwhile, get in some additional reinforcements on this side of the river. I don't really see the AI attacking through there, to be quite frank. There we go. Not too bad. Yeah, having moved those Italian units through there, that would be exceptionally taxing for them, obviously. The Torino, Pasubio, and third. Okay, they're 114% TOE. They have way too many machine guns. Okay, I guess that's the 8mm Breda. They have no motorized squads. They also have way too many calves, apparently, and L640 tanks, huh? Either way, let's have at least just one unit here, so that makes it a little bit harder for them to move through this area. I mean, for them to try and move through here, it doesn't really matter that much. But still. Moving you in there might help a little bit. And let's just get you here. Alright, now at this point I have the third motorized squad. I want to actually move it here and put all of these units under the third motorized. Like, there's no reason for these guys not to be under the third motorized, and I should be switching up those other units up in the north as well. Because also for them there's no reason to be under this. Still, if I move forward and take more hexes, I think the calf actually would be capable already of moving in through there. And that might actually give some trouble. We'll see how that goes. Alright. Now, moving further up to the center. One thing I want to do for now, they can go back, so it's not the worst that I'm doing this. Let's get them to surrender with these two and move you back. Move you down 1 hex to take those two and move back into Sumi. Currently, with the way this is going, or this is working, I'm just kind of looking to take more territory for each turn. So, the 17th. Let's get you back together. And like this too, this is just no good. So I want to move them into Burin. And I'm gonna move them back, obviously. This also takes up fuel, but I want to have a at least a reasonable line between this and this, so that the AI also does not get any ideas, basically, as to whether... Sorry, excuse me. Wow. Whether they can just waltz through there. Now, I do have a bunch of motorized units up here, which is pretty interesting because I can swing them around, and maybe that's actually a pretty decent idea. But of course, I have to be a bit careful here too. Let's start by going in here. Launching an attack on them. And put these two in there. Move you closer as well. They retreated, but they retreated in the right direction, I suppose. Not really gonna complain about that. So that's this unit. Naturally, want to get these guys moving forward as well, because if I'm gonna launch an encirclement of the units here, or try to launch an attack on those encircled units, also a cavalry, huh? So this motorized corps is already overburdened, just like these, because of the units not getting together. But the way I need to do this is as follows. So this motorized corps should be taking control over the 3rd Panzer, so that's the 46th. And they are heavily overburdened, but they're going to lose those, so I want you to be under the 24th. 12 out of 12, so not overburdened, and you are I mean, I can't mix those together, so they need to let go of Großdeutschland, which for the moment I'll just put under 2nd Panzer Group, which also allows these to move further down south. Right, it's not gonna get any better than this. Now, with regards to this cavalry, I actually think the fact that they retreated there is fine. Let's get you back. They lost a lot of strength. So let's move in these guys as well. Okay, so with that, this motorized unit and this motorized unit can go forward. Okay. They have a unit in there, understandable. You see, this is... probably Summoner's Brigade, huh? Using all 3 of them, I can still put a pretty decent attack on Dubrovka. And afterwards, maybe even on the tanks, but that will be tricky. Okay, they did make it. Even though I took quite heavy losses, they also lost quite a lot of them. Now the weird thing is that I lost tanks there too, supposedly. I wonder what that was. Let's take a look. I won the ground battles here. So I lost 17. I did have a Stuck battalion. Let's take a look. Ground losses, Axis losses, 7 Stugs, 2 armored cars. Oh yeah, it's those 7 Stugs, that's what it is. Okay. Fair enough. But can you move into either of those? You cannot. Well, there is one thing that I can do against that. It has probably pushed those guys back in a heavy attack. Because I really want to get them into Dubrovka. Sweet. Now, let's split you up and follow the river on this side. So you can stay there though, that's fine. They might actually try to break out in this direction. I can see them do that. So I also have to be careful there. Like with these. Yeah, so what I'll do, it's not that like I can put another unit in there. Like that's just not realistic. I can either shorten the line by going in here, but to be frank, I actually don't really like that idea that much. This is a fairly weak play. But I do hope that ultimately it will work. They have only one city, Mglin, where they might potentially have supplies. That's... So... we'll have to see about it. I want you to go down there, and unfortunately I also want these to split up. I also don't like the way this looks, and at the same time I want you to split up and go in here and here. I'll join them back together on the next turn again, most likely. But these are just rather a blocking detachment, and to make sure that they don't get out in here. They still have tanks, for example, in this this group, and it's still a 100,000 units, something like that. So yeah, I could technically move slightly further and capture some of these swamps, but the question is how useful is that actually going to be? Let's push them back for now, and I also want to move these further up. The thing around here is that I actually need to get some of my units to move further up to the north. They cannot move, but that's fine. But I have a severe shortage of units over in this section, and it is pretty dangerous, especially with me continuing to push forward towards Moscow to give the Soviets a scare here. And oh, I need to be at least like I need at least 2 X's in between. Let's see how they react to this, whether they will allow me to take Medin. I guess not. They have a line here, so I can't really do anything with that at the moment. Besides that, like this here is also not something that I really like, but like 19th Panzer Division has the potential to get to Kalinin at this point. But what can you do? Let's actually use the Lair Motorized Brigade to start taking some of these hexes down here. Which seems like a very silly task, but it does allow me to move up the 1st RFSS Motorized Brigade. And use some insanely poor movement to grab the hexes in the center. But I really need that to convert. So let's move 18th into Staritsa. And 19th Panzer up. And wait a minute. Oh, they're so powerful because they have the 2nd RFSS Motorized Brigade underneath them. I see. Well, I'll probably decouple that. Yeah. Actually, what I want to do is go in here, which will convert a little bit more, and then move back and keep them there for the moment. Man, I need to switch these up because this is... Maybe it's for the best to not move them any further for the moment. Because, I mean, despite all of this, Jeez. This overstretching is absolutely nuts. I would be extremely surprised if I would be able to even hold this in any form. Also because the supplies come from Smolensk. What I can do though is I can, say, build a temporary depot at Chavka. And then potentially start trying to fly stuff in there. I have no clue how far I can go. But I will try. Alright, so... Oh, that's a bit too far. Let's start working on these. And are you overburdened? Nah. So that allows me to put you under the 28th Corps for the moment. Probably a good idea. Alright, and where's that rail? Okay, I cannot work on the rail. But that's fine. You at Veliki Luki. I would never 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I would literally have to put these here. There's just no chance. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, if they allow me to take that, then I'll take it. Let's see. It's probably best to move into this hex. Let's get that motorized core moving. Let's see, because if I look at the rail, damage rail here, okay. Let's just, at the very least, put this depot here at Trudovo, because I do want the rail to move in there, after all. And, Luga's nice and all, but that cavalry. Six, 7, and 16. So 6th Panzer has the most difficulty. And they are stuck. So there'll be 10. You have 2, 9. So 8th Panzer Division. Interestingly enough, has the most movement capabilities up till here. Well, that means at the very least for this turn, Leningrad is cut off by rail, not yet by ports, but we're right on schedule. So that's it's not too bad. Okay. So out here, I mean, let's face it. I kinda feel like I should be pushing here, and I actually did talk about trying to get to the Msta River and building my defense on that. So basically following the river here or here up to through this lines, the Sias River, then down here, and basically at that point I would be moving down or just doing it like this here. These are heavies and then going through here, but at least capture this side of the Msta River. And the reason why I want to do that is because then I can take Visny Volocek and then either move this way or just dig in along the Tveritsa. But that is a mighty ambitious goal that I have no way of seeing whether that would succeed, obviously. And I still need to take more territory for it, so it's not as if... It would be an easy fight either way. What I do want to do is get 36th motorized in here. If that also gives me this hex, that would be great. It did. I just don't want the enemy units to be on this side of the Volkov already. And if I can take any hex and prevent them from doing so, I am perfectly fine with that. I don't see them getting in through there. They are not very likely to do that, I believe. Now I will do this and just leave them there for the moment. You're part of this motorized corps. Let's just go here for a sec and then attack. Didn't think so, indeed. Why is that important? Well, now I can attack at Lichkovo and take the city. Lichkovo is pretty much the furthest the Germans got on this side. I mean, besides, of course, Demyansk and then down here, but up in the north, like, they never captured Klesti. Klesti? I don't know. But they never got there. I'll be quite pleased to get the double rail. That would help me tremendously. If I can get a double rail from Leningrad with port supply and move all the way down to Kalinin, that would greatly help the war effort. But at the moment, we'll have to see whether it gets to that. Yeah, let's just get you up here for now. Going down or into Maga, I don't think it's super useful. They might try to get out. Nah, that's not that likely, I think, even. Maybe. But, yeah, this should be okay. It's just a bit tricky at this point. Right, let's just go over all the units, etc. for the moment, just so that I can be sure that I haven't forgotten anything. At least in terms of regular movement for my units. I might still change HQs and do other things. But I actually wonder how I would be able to get those guys on the map again. I would have to see how that works. This is probably the best placement for them at the moment. Just like this. This just has the most. This is still 1 hex up, and it does mean that there's a triple hex empty in between this area near Rzhev. So I like that. And like I said, there's probably not that much movement anymore. Well, why wouldn't I? Well, let's see. One thing I can do is do this. So then move you back, split them up, move one in here. This will allow me to move some units from this Panzer division already back together as well. Not entirely, but it means that over the entire line, at least my stacks are a little bit better managed. Not gonna push in this section, even though that might actually be possible. Yeah, I'm actually doing this. Alright. Not attacking across the river. That'd be a bit wasteful. Are there any units that are currently capable of moving? In terms of the Romanians, that is often the case. They do... They did have this moment where almost every turn they unfroze at least one. But doesn't seem to be the case. Let's actually take a look at the reinforcement screen here. So we got nothing on the map. They're no, indeed, they just had some units in Italy. Next turn we're getting the Croatia Reinforced Infantry Regiment. That's about it. Turn 11 we'll get the Blue Infantry Division. Only by turn 12 can we expect 5th Panzer, 2nd Panzer, the 40th Motorized, this RFSS Motorized Brigade is going to go to the garrison. This is already stretched all the way to the end. Well, at least till 43. Huh. Well, we'll have to see about that, but that's not where we're yet. Alright. I'm gonna run by everything in terms of supplies, extra units, etc., and then I'll meet you back once again for the end of the turn, while I take care of all the nitty-gritty little details. So meet you on the other side. Alright, I'm back and took care of most of the things. Now, one thing I've done is I've moved Totenkopf into this supply hub from one of those places either way. Put the motorized corps in there. Besides that, I moved up 4th Panzer Group's HQ and got both 18th and 16th in here. Besides that, I didn't really take care of a whole lot except doing some flying missions. Got a new depot up in here. And put in some freight by air. So that's a little bit closer to the front than the one at Smela. At this point, next turn, I'll also start flying some stuff in there. I do have 13 AP, and I guess with that 13 AP, I might actually be switching up another general. Von Obstfelder is a 6 infantry. He has pretty decent other stats. I cannot switch him. It costs 1 to put a unit somewhere, so that generally doesn't work. Let's take a look at this Cavalry Romanian Corps. This guy is 29, this missile cost. Nope. About you, Kortfleisch. Yeah, he's already good enough. Already did switch up this guy. Hubert Lanz, he already has 7 infantry. We have on Vlietinghof, 7-7, it's not bad. And then in the northern one we have on Schreppenberg, who is 8-7, so obviously I'm not replacing that. I don't think Guderian needs to be replaced. Nah, he's okay. Actually need to switch or put those into individual corps. Huh. I completely forgot to move you, apparently. Okay, well, there we go. Let's take a look at the 13th Corps. Oof. 5 infantry? You got to be joking. I need 7 infantry at the least. And then indeed, preferably one who is bad at mech. Ernst Hell, for example. Or Gustav Höhne. They are pretty much similar in stats, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go for Hell as well. Alright, so that puts him from a 5 to a 7. That should help. Good. Alright, that's what I did with the AP. Let's continue and see what kind of disaster might befall 3rd Panzer. They're within striking distance of Moscow, but without supplies at this point. I don't expect to take it anytime soon, to be honest. So let there be no doubt about that. I'm not looking for that. Not at all. But one thing I am looking at is closing this. Well, it's not really a bulge, but just you know, straightening this by moving in here and here. That would also bring me closer to both Chula and Orel. Of course, it doesn't actually get me either of the two, but still. Like one thing I do want to close is this here gap. In that sense, I can't really fight a whole lot in here, but that's why I want to have this line go like this, and then preferably we go down there, capture Orel, Kursk, Kharkov, and that way go straight down. Because that's then where I will potentially dig in for the winter. Somewhere along some rivers around those areas. Now the Oskol River is a very good first line of defense in that regard. And, you know, we still have time. Like, there is time to do this. So. I also definitely need to step up my air game. As currently, that's not going too amazingly either. Seems like they're... I don't know what they did. What they expect to find at Königsberg. But what I do know is that they have so many population centers here that we absolutely need to capture it to make sure that their amount of population ultimately doesn't increase by as much. I mean, I do believe that's the case. Like, the more population centers we take, the less manpower they ultimately get per turn. Although we would never be able to catch up either way, as we can only get heavies. So at some point you might have a lot of manpower, but if they are only heavies and all my units are already at 100% support in that regard, like they're already 100% on heavies, then it's not a whole lot that we can do there. So yeah, the attrition attacks. So we'll see. At some point we are going to see those attrition attacks. I mean, we might see them a little bit later here than we did on challenging. But there's gonna be a point where the Soviets feel comfortable enough actually doing that. Seems like they just moved some units in between here simply because they just can. Again, just straight up teleporting, something like that. I mean, if I had a tank unit, it certainly would not be able to move like that. It just would not. Like, the zone of control is just too powerful there. So that kind of sucks. I mean, they might still be able to do that encirclement. Maybe. But we'll have to see. Technically, the Russians would have to make a new defensive line, like, around this. So it certainly does make things interesting. At least they didn't try anything here. Seems like they're moving slightly back in this area, which might actually give up some free territory, although they do have that unit in there. I mean, after Soviets garrisoning urban areas, we'll get to their actual line building, so to say. However they call it. It's like forming defensive line. Grab empty access. Yeah, form defensive line. That's the one that we're looking at. Okay, so they're not going to give us the territory for free. Very clearly. They are not. Seems like they even are trying to like get around my unit. I can cut them off here, I guess, if that's where they're, you know, feeling like they should be. Okay. They're transporting stuff into this pocket, which is costing them some MiGs, but besides that, not really anything. All right. Let's take a look. At least there's no real danger of a breakout in this section anymore. And there might still be some here, but I'm actually quite happy at that new pocket here. That's good. And we got to do something while most of the Panzer is still just waiting for our potential supply lines to catch up. So it is not as if we can really get to work there. I'm a bit displeased at this, but you know, besides that, it's I'm gonna have to see. As soon as I can free up some units in the north, that will start having its effect also on everything further down south, where I just start getting more freed up units everywhere. Reason why I swung south of Nepopetrovsk as well is because, you know, moving all the way to Stalino, it's just, supply-wise, it's just undoable. Kind of like at Moscow, like, you know, I'm going to have to retreat there through any means because I just have nothing, basically. Alright, but let's go and take a look. It seems like they're not here, like, at all, which is super weird. But I'm not complaining. It's obviously not isolated, but sure. I can cut off these tanks. They're a bit annoying, and I can cut off the cav. They're still in. They're okay, actually. They're already starting to push back. Same here, but they didn't get cut off. Definitely starting, or I'm gonna try to swing up north. Shame they didn't give up Bryansk for free. I mean, he does tend to do stuff like that sometimes. Ooh, they did move forward quite a bit at that point, and now they're also indeed holding that. Yeah, this was kind of shitty. I guess actually, yeah, if they have a tank unit, it can go here, and then they can just, you know, move through here. I can actually see that. Never mind. I take it back. Like, I'm disappointed that this happened, sure, but I think it's fair. Definitely. So, okay, fair enough. Sorry, partisans, yeah. We'll move forward quite a bit here as well at this point. All this free territory does, however, mean that I can't really attack, though. Not too sure how happy I ultimately am about that, but... That means I'll also have to clear this. And they're giving some free territory here again as well as they did before. They're starting to push a little bit. These guys are still in decent supply. That's a little bit of hope. I can actually carve up this part pretty well that way. So, you know, at least we will then potentially not get cut off from that side. Oh yeah, I can see myself actually pushing up into Siastroy if they don't have anything here. At the very least, I can see myself, you know, taking these two, and then they have only one port left at that point. These guys should already be doing a lot worse on supply. You can kind of see that here. If we're looking at losses, we're getting close to 2.5, whereas they're at 2.25. They this is the first time they actually have more manpower than we do, or at least more on-map forces than we do. If we wouldn't count the Axis allies, but we do know that they count for a little bit less. So there is that. But oh well. Can probably get my infantry quite close to Sevastopol already. Doesn't mean that I get to attack immediately. Also, look at the Ginichesk. I cannot get in here. Well, this is 741. I should be able to get in there though. And then whatever forces they might still have here will then be cut off. Yeah, it will be an interesting turn for sure. Either way, I'll be wrapping things up. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, see you then, and bye-bye.